It seems like forever ago in 2018 when we got the teaser trailer for Elder Scrolls 6. That's because it was forever ago. It was 8 years ago. And I know everybody is wanting to know what is actually up with this game. You might be thinking Bethesda's dragging its feet, right? Well, the truth behind the long wait, it's way more complex than a simple they're not ready yet. And I'm going to walk you guys through the real reasons for the delay today. From Starfield's development hogging resources to a ground-up engine overhaul, you've got Microsoft's big acquisition shakeup, and you have lessons learned from Fallout 76. And, I mean, what Bethesda is aiming for with the next-gen Elder Scrolls experience. We're even going to talk about the rumors floating around, that scratched-in map from Starfield, yeah, the trailer, anyone? And by the end, hopefully, we have a full picture of why ES6 is still cooking so many years later. Welcome to the channel, everybody. Jimmy or Chaos. And I do read every single comment on every single video, so chime in with your thoughts on this. We're going to go over the real reason for the delays. And the elephant in the room, it's Starfield. Starfield Shadow. Let's talk about Starfield. After Fallout 76 rough launch, Bethesda doubled down. They poured almost all their creative energy into Starfield, the new space RPG that everybody was going to want to play. In fact, Todd Howard himself made it clear that Starfield was the priority. He said, Starfield is the game Bethesda wants to make, and that's where its focus is entirely. Keyword, entirely. In other words, everyone jumped on Starfield. It took years to build, including brand new tech like Planet Generation, and only after it was done could the teams pivot back to other projects. So yes, Starfield's size and scope, it completely hogged the Bethesda pipeline, meaning ES6 had to sit in the back and had to wait its turn quietly, which is kind of crazy to say because, let's be real, the Elder Scrolls franchise is way more of a legacy-driven franchise and more popular and has a bigger fandom than Starfield, but whatever. Bethesda basically needed to get Starfield out the door, fix things post-launch before they could seriously dive into the next Skyrim, I guess. It was all hands on deck, right? For example, when asked, Howard said, we have to make this game, Starfield, and this is the time. So Elder Scrolls 6 is going to have to wait a little bit. And given that Starfield was a massive new IP complete with unprecedented procedural worlds, it was no shocker. The studio was totally consumed by it for years and tons of money and assets and hours. It hogged everything. Before we move on, guys, do me a favor. If you have a second, go check out my new first debut book. That's right. I am a published author for the first time. Welcome to the Family is my sci-fi thriller, and I would love you guys to check it out. And if you do, please leave me a review. Apparently, that's how these things go. I need a review if you guys enjoy the book. And it's a really cool story. It's about a 16-year-old girl and their family when they get their first humanoid robot, Atlas, but there's a lot more to it. And there's a lot more to Atlas and what's going around them in their town and the world. And the cool part is, all the fictional characters are pulled straight from my life. All my family members, friends, everything. So I would love it if you guys did. And if you do, shoot me an email or shoot me a comment and let me know what you think of the book. It'll be the pinned comment and it'll be at the top of the description. Now, the engine overhaul, the Creation Engine 2.0 and beyond. Let's talk tech for a second. Bethesda rebuilt its engine, the Creation Engine 2, from the ground up for next gen specifically. It was not a minor update. Todd Howard called it the largest engine overhaul in Bethesda history. So in plain terms, they gutted and rewrote core systems to make Starfield and future games truly next-gen. So that includes new high-res 4K textures, advanced lighting, revamped physics, all of that. AI, basically the works. Took a lot of time. Todd even admitted all the work took so long to do, and why would they do that? Because they wanted a foundation so powerful that it could handle the sheer ambition of something like ES6. A former dev, Bruce Nesmith, he put it like this: Creation Engine 2 is now perfectly tuned for the big immersive RPGs like Starfield and the Elder Scrolls. What does that mean? Well, Bethesda essentially spent years building the tools ES6 is going to need. Todd Howard hinted as far back as 2016 that the vision for the next Elder Scrolls didn't even have the tech ready yet. It's something that's going to take a lot of time, he said. In effect, they needed to get the engine solid and up to date before they layered in all the new gameplay and open world features that ES6 does deserve. So while it might look like, why not just start making the game? The reality was they had to fully overhaul and optimize their engine first. And once they had that foundation set, and that was Starfield's development, then they could finally start building ES6 on top of that. So for all of you, and myself included, who said, well, Starfield hogged everything, it took priority, why would they do that? That's a bad decision. if you look at it from the lens of they were creating this new engine and using Starfield as the test dummy, and then they were going to be ready for truly next-gen Elder Scrolls, kind of makes it sting a little less. Then we get into the Microsoft acquisition. I mean, restructuring at its finest in 2020, another curveball right there. Microsoft bought Bethesda's parent company. That change brought Bethesda under Xbox Game Studios, and with it, new priorities. Microsoft, they are all about Game Pass subscriptions and sequence big exclusive titles, and internally, that meant shifting how Bethesda plans their releases. For instance, there were leaked documents from that merger, the Microsoft FTC case we've talked about multiple times on this channel, that actually show a roadmap loaded with remasters. You had the Oblivion remaster, you had the Fallout 3 remaster, before any new Elder Scrolls. It suggested in the short term, the focus was on bolstering libraries and familiar franchises and getting people back, getting their feet wet again, getting them excited. Even Microsoft's boss, Phil Spencer, acknowledged the wait. In a 2023 hearing, he said the sequel was likely 5+ years away, and true enough, nothing sped up. On top of all that, Bethesda games have started rolling out on PlayStation. You have Indiana Jones, you have Doom, even the Oblivion remaster. I mean, that is indicating Microsoft is still figuring out its exclusivity strategy. But the bottom line is, as a part of Xbox, Bethesda may have agreed to slower cadence to maximize Game Pass content. They seem to be spacing out their big AAA drops like Starfield and ES6 rather than rushing them. And all these corporate decisions, from the focus on Game Pass to meeting publisher goals, they're going to play into delaying a major release like ES6, even if it's unofficial. So yes, the Microsoft acquisition played a big part in the reason you don't have ES6 in front of you right now. You're not exploring Hammerfell right now, okay? Now, I mentioned at the beginning of the video, Fallout 76. There are lessons to be learned here. You guys remember it? Yeah? Any of you still playing it? It's in a good place now from what I hear. I mean, that launch taught Bethesda a really, really harsh lesson. They won't, I hope, make the same mistakes twice, especially with the beloved series. Todd Howard openly acknowledged Fallout 76 had a lot of difficulties at launch, and it earned well-deserved criticism. His main regret was skimping on beta testing. If only they'd run a longer public beta, many issues probably would have been caught way earlier, and that experience, well, it burned a lot of goodwill. So now Bethesda, they're probably not going to take any chances. And given this, you can bet that the team will probably be spending extra, almost Rockstar polishing time on ES6. And the roadmap and PR suggests they're in no rush to ship it until it's near perfect. Even Todd said he wishes they didn't take as long, but they do. And that he wants the game to be as best as it can be for everybody. So in short, the Fallout 76 debacle, it made Bethesda hyper-aware. They need a rock-solid launch, not another scramble here. The mindset inherently stretches out development. You got testing, internal playtests, quality assurance, all of that. Also, ES6 is not marred by bugs or PR nightmares at launch. I know it's slow, it's cooking, but it's deliberate. And if you put all these things together, well, kind of makes sense. You got the Microsoft acquisition, you've got Starfield building the new engine, you've got the lessons learned from Fallout 76. Now let's talk about what actually does it mean to make a true next-gen Elder Scrolls game. Bethesda clearly isn't aiming to just rehash Skyrim. They want a generational leap here. What that means, I don't know. I mean, I guess a living, breathing world that sets the bar for RPGs. If you consider today's AAA titles, they're going to push adaptive AI, photorealism, procedural systems, create living worlds players can get lost in. The AI learns and adapts with you. So imagine ES6 with tens of thousands of NPCs, smart economies, dynamic weather, fully emergent quest, all of that. And that's what they're looking for. That's probably the conservative side. I mean, whatever we get out of GTA 6, imagine that for Elder Scrolls, but probably even more refined. We know Todd expects ES6 to be played for decades. A decade, 2 decades. So they are building it with the kind of longevity that Rockstar has in mind with their games. I keep mentioning Rockstar, but they kind of run parallel with what they're doing. These are massive games. GTA 6 is going to be the biggest game in the world, right? But I'm telling you right now, once we get past that and Elder Scrolls 6 comes, it's going to be up there. It's going to be huge. And that means modular designs, deep mod support, confirmed mod tools are a priority, systems that can keep growing for decades. Could even mean tech we haven't seen yet. I mean, people are speculating about AI-generated dialogue or massive seamless worlds. All that ambition takes time to nail down. In other words, the long wait is partly because Bethesda is aiming to the stars here. They want something that feels worth waiting, and if they pull it off, I mean, ES6 isn't going to be just another fantasy game. Could actually define RPGs for the next decade. The big question for me is, you gotta cram all this in and let it run on the consoles. And I mean, PC I'm not worried about, but whatever the next gen consoles are, whatever this innovative reaching for the future type game is, it's still gotta be run. It's gotta be able to run. So I mean, to recap here, Elder Scrolls 6 hasn't arrived yet because of all of these things. Bethesda spent years building Starfield, made it their top project, and along the way they completely overhauled their engine for next gen, specifically ES6. Then Microsoft swooped in, reshuffled all the priorities for Game Pass, and they shifted internal roadmaps. We even saw leaks of remasters and all that stuff way early, and it was all before we would get ES6. And on top of that, Fallout 76, a rocky launch, taught them to be super cautious. They want ES6 polished to perfection before showing it, which I can appreciate, and I'm okay. They're aiming for this huge leap in scale and quality, and they're going to try to build a living world that could stay relevant for decades. All of that together, mix it in a bowl, get you a long wait. I mean, I don't think it's laziness. I don't think it's inertia. I mean, I think a longer development means Bethesda is buying time to deliver something truly epic, and they need to. This is a big one. This could make or break them. Let's be real. The fandom for Elder Scrolls, they are the best, but they're also going to call out if it's not what they expect it to be. So they definitely are trying to blow everybody away. And there you go. A little something different today, not necessarily new leaks and rumors, but I wanted to dive into the real reason for the delays, the real reason why it's been 8 years since we saw the teaser and we still don't have any announcements about Elder Scrolls 6. If you guys like this format and you want me to do this with other games as well, I definitely can. Like I said, if you have a second, go check out Welcome to the Family. I mean, I'm excited. My first ever published book. It took me my entire life to get here, but it's pretty fun. And I've got some really cool book number 2's I'm already working on it. And then I am in the process of working on an 8-book series. We'll just say it's in the realm of mythological fantasy thrillers. It's going to be like a rapid release. So once I get to the point, we're talking probably a year and a half out, we'll be getting one every couple months. Anyway, that's something for a different day. I appreciate all of you, and I'll see you soon.